25th and 26th June, last week of the June holiday. Okay, this one I will not talk about this. I think Mr. Goh earlier mentioned about what parents can do. So in preparation for the PSLE, the boys have to start using 0.5 mm tip, blue or black ballpoint pen. Erasable pen and gel ink pens should not be used. Also, the other thing is correction tape. You have to stop using correction tape as it may affect the legibility of the answers. If there is a need to change answers, they should cross the answers out and rewrite the answers. With regard to highlighting, the boys could highlight parts of the question, but when it comes to the answer, there should totally not be any highlighting because again, it will affect the marker from reading the answers. Now, Mr. Sachi will take you through the curriculum for English language. Mr. Sachi?
Hello, hi everybody, I'm Mrs. Sachi. Miso, can I have the next slide?
Yep.
Yeah, so let's take a look at the exam format. I need you to be very mindful if you're getting assessment books from bookstores, like popular bookstores, make sure that the version you have is updated version because this year the children are sitting for a paper that is slightly different from last year. The weightage is slightly different for situational writing and also for oral communication for the reading aloud section as well as the stimulus-based section. So be very careful when you're buying assessment books from the bookshops, such as Popular. Next slide, please. Okay, let's take a look at this. Weightage of marks, you'll find that for component 1, writing component, the weightage is very high at 25%. So based on past experience, boys usually don't do that well as they should in continuous writing. So it'd be very good if boys are exposed to good pieces of writing, get them to read model compose or get them to read all kinds of texts, expose them to different genres of text during your free time. For situational writing, we're actually testing boys on whether they are able to write a piece of work based on to suit the purpose, the audience, as well as using the right type of grammar and vocab to write perhaps a formal or informal piece of work. So if you look at the new booklets that they've bought, and information was given to you, I think yesterday by our HOD, the new questions are shown in this current set of situational writing booklets. I think most of you would, I think many of the boys haven't bought it. Only a few boys gave me their booklets today. So if your boys have it, you can take a look at it. Now let's look at the last component there on this slide, oral communication. The change this year comes in the form of reading aloud. In the past, boys would be shown posters and they'd be asked open-ended questions such as, let's look at this picture. Do you think you wish to take part in this program or not? Very close-ended. But for this year, there's a slight change. Instead of being shown a poster of a picture of a poster, they'd be shown a black and white photograph instead. And they'd be asked what they think the characters in the poster might be feeling. So boys must be able to express their emotions, be able to put themselves in somebody else's position, and be able to think and give perspectives from somebody's point of view. Next slide, please. How can you support your child in his language learning? The boys are aware that spelling will start next Thursday from week 2 onwards on Thursdays only. And I will likely return their books on Fridays so that you can take a look at how he has done and for time for him to do his corrections as well. And I will check their books on Mondays the following week that parent signatures are in and corrections have been done. They will also get to do a piece of editing worksheet 1 or 2 days later after every spelling exercise to test them on how much they can retain of what they have learned for the spelling. I will also need your help to check that he does his homework on time, not just spelling, but his other homework. Homework is written on the homework board each day. Like for today, I think Miss So and I we have written the weekend homework on the homework board. We try as much as we can not to paste homework in class dojo. I know some teachers have the habit of doing that, but we try to stress to the boys that getting their homework done is their responsibility, not their parents' responsibility. And writing down their homework, being mindful, and being disciplined is their responsibility. So, as much as possible, we try not to have to contact you where the boy's homework is concerned, unless your child does not submit his work after one or two reminders, then we may reach out to you. Next slide, please. All right, how can you support your child in language learning? Okay, let me take a look at this. Okay, I think we all know that we be a good role model. If our children can see us reading, that'd be wonderful. The boys so far have shown me that they are able to settle down very quietly in the morning and do their very quiet reading. We call that DEAR, DEAR, and that stands for drop everything and read. So every morning when they get to the classroom, no matter what time they enter the classroom, they're expected to sit down, take out a book to enjoy reading. And there are books available in the classroom library, but there are not enough books in the classroom library. So we have appealed to the boys. If they have books which are still in good condition and they do not mind leaving them in the classroom library, we welcome their contributions. Next slide, please. Okay, all right. And if you look at the information shown on this slide, I think this will help very much in the oral communication. If you can get boys to talk, boys don't emote very much from our experience here in a boys' school. They most times when you ask them how's your school, and they can only give you very short answers. Yeah, school is okay, and they say okay, school is fine, and that's about all they tell you. We try to get them to expand on their answers, to elaborate on their answers, and using strategies such as 5W1H. All right, the where, the when, the how, the who, the what. They know that, all right, just that whether they take the effort and they're mindful in executing it, that's another thing. So let's try to remind our boys and help them to use the strategies that they've learned in school. Next slide. All right, Ms. So will take you through this section on mathematics.
Okay, now mathematics. There are two papers. So paper one, duration is an hour. Consists of section booklet A and B. There's MCQ and the short answers. Then in booklet B, short answers plus structured long questions on word problem, and that is 1 hour 30 minutes. Now the papers during PSLE, they'll be both scheduled on the same day with a break in between the papers. In paper one, the use of calculator is not allowed. So today, as I was marking the homework that I gave on Thursday, I think I realized that some of the boys, they need to do their mental arithmetic regularly, because I see simple mistakes like 1 multiplied by 1 is 2, or 4 multiplied by 3 equals to 7. So maybe at home you can help also to maybe ask them what check on their multiplication table. So in paper 2, use of calculator is allowed. You can obtain the list of MOE's approved calculator on the SCAB website. The link is shown there. If you're unsure, you can class dojo me, and then I will let you know. So here, a presentation of work for mathematics. Again, I want to emphasize that they must use ballpoint pen, because sometimes with a gel pen, and it contacts with the palm or hand, it smudges, so it makes it very difficult for us to read. For drawing, pencil and ruler has to be used, especially if they are drawing a straight line. I think in exam, we are very strict in terms of penalizing drawing. Let's say is done without using a ruler. We do not award marks. So one of the things that can help the boys to manage word problems is to get them to underline keywords and maybe circle the numbers that they see. So all working are to be shown clearly and systematically. And for angle questions, they can annotate on the given diagram. Some tips. I think at home, when you get them to do their work, please help them to get a habit of checking their answers. I think one of the things that maybe we probably don't emphasize enough is getting them to do corrections and learning from the mistakes they make. I see that sometimes the boys tend to just want to do more and more questions, but they fail to recognize that, in fact, if a question that they couldn't manage previously, and if they were to redo those questions after the teacher has gone through explain the question to them, that helps them really to check if they have really understood that particular question. So please get them to do consistent practice, and when in doubt, to consult me. I told the boys that if they don't mind sacrificing their recess, they can always let me know in advance that they have some queries and some things that they're unsure about. I'm more than happy actually to meet them during recess or possibly maybe after school to clarify their doubts. Now for science, they have a one paper divided into booklet A and B. So booklet A multiple choice and booklet B open-ended. The whole paper duration is 1 hour 45 minutes. Now, I don't teach science this year, but last year, based on the experience, most of them don't do well in the open-ended component. So some of the tips for them when answering open-ended questions would be, when you see that question, link it to the concepts that could be tested, and then use the keywords related to that particular topic. Sometimes they can use their own words, but in a scientific context, say that the question is testing, the word that we use layman may not fully represent the science concept that we want. So the best is really for that particular topic, if there are certain keywords that they have learned related to that science topic, get them to use those words when they answer that question. So do not rush through the MCQ question. And the other thing is about also the time management. It's 1 hour 45 minutes. I myself, when I get myself to attempt a PSLE paper, I find that after an hour I get really, really tired. So maybe at home, if possible, please get them to sit a 1 hour 45 minutes and get them to build that mental stamina. So now Mrs. Sachi will take over to talk about mother tongue.
Okay, next slide, Pri Huang. Right, this is the weighting of the mother tongue paper. It comprises compo writing, paper 2, which is language use, the e-oral component, as well as the listening comprehension component. All right, next slide. We have a few boys in this class taking the foundation mother tongue paper, and this is the weightage of the different components of the paper. Next slide. Okay, and this is the weightage for the higher mother tongue paper. We have a good number of boys in this class taking higher mother tongue language, and they stay back on Thursdays for higher mother tongue lessons. I think lessons started today. Yep. All right. Please scan the QR code here for the list of MOE approved dictionaries. And like what Mr. Goh mentioned earlier, retrieval practice is very important. The boys have to recap. Hopefully they can retell, all right, what they learn every day in school, especially for Chinese. It's not everybody's favorite subject. I believe the different Chinese language teachers would have set up their class dojo groups with you, the parents. So if you have any queries, please feel free to direct your questions in the class dojo group set up by the different CL teachers or the ML and TL teachers. Next slide, please. Okay, home support for mother tongue. I think the boys in this school, they speak mainly just English. As teachers, we don't hear them speaking Chinese or Malay or hardly mother tongue, hardly. Yeah, even sometimes the mother tongue teachers have to resort to speaking English in the classroom. So let's try to expose our boys as much as possible to this language, get them to hear, listen to mother tongue, more print and less screen. Expose them to books. If you can afford the time, take them to the library. And we encourage the boys by telling them it is okay to try, but fail, but it is really not all right to not try at all. Okay? Next slide. I want to talk about pen. These are your non-examinable subjects. The music teacher and art teacher are new this year. I'm not sure whether the boys have met them. Miss Lynette and Miss Jun Chong, they are both new to the school. I hope that the boys will give them a very, very warm welcome. Next slide. All right, on cyber wellness, I think we can't stress enough on this. It's very important to set very clear boundaries when it comes to the use of social media and the mobile devices. I think at home it's very important that as parents we set device-free zones, such as the dining area or bedroom, and we also have to limit screen time, set very reasonable screen time for them. I have boys who have confessed to me that they are addicts, that they are addicted to the device. In their personal statements to me in the first few days of school, Miss So and I have read through that, and it's quite scary to see that quite a few boys are addicted to their devices. I'm not sure if these parents know about it. So I would appeal to you to educate your children about online safety and teach them also about setting their devices or social media accounts to private. Privacy setting is very important so that they can protect their own personal information, and please be mindful of stranger danger. Please don't talk to anyone online that they do not know of. Also, please encourage positive online behavior such as leaving behind their digital footprint. Yeah, anything that they post online can be permanent. They do not want to post something that they may regret later on in life. So they have to think very, very carefully before they post anything online. Yeah, just be very mindful of that. Next slide. All right. iPads in class. Okay, the slide before this, Miso. Use of iPads in class. Miso, as well as the science teacher Chen Kai and I, don't foresee ourselves using a lot of iPads in class this year. So we do not need the boys to bring iPads to school every day. And if there is a need, yes, the subject teacher will inform them. Some of them may be in mother tongue classes in which their mother tongue teachers need them to use iPads daily. So they will have to check with their mother tongue teacher, depending on which group they are assigned to. But for Miss So, myself, and Chen Kai, who's their science teacher, we won't be using much of iPads in class. Yeah. So they don't have to bring their iPads to school daily. Next slide. These are the few ways in which you can reach us. Most of you have sent us some hello message on Class Dojo already via the private message feature. So if you have anything to let us know or any questions after this, you can send us your questions on Class Dojo. We'll try to respond to you ASAP, not over the weekend, but next week. We will also appeal to parents. If your child is going to be absent that day, please let us know. Send us a message on Dojo early in the morning. Let us know that your son will not be in school. Yep. Next slide. All right. We've come to the end of today's sharing. We thank you for joining us in this evening's meeting. Should you have any questions, please feel free to write to us in Dojo, PM us in Class Dojo, and we'll respond to you next week. Yeah. All right, we've come to the end of the sharing. You may leave the meeting. Thank you.
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 Thanks, everybody. Hui Huang, I think we can end the meeting.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Bye, April.
Bye, Hui Huang.